Canada's Armed Forces, Strength, Structure, Pay, and the Road to Self-Reliance. Today we are going to talk about something very serious and very important. Canada's Armed Forces. Canada is the second largest country in the world by land area. It stretches from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean and up to the Arctic Ocean. It shares the longest undefended border in the world with the United States, and across the Arctic, Canada is geographically very close to Russia. When we look at the size of this country and its strategic position, a very important question arises. Do we have enough armed strength to defend such a vast land and coastline? Do we have enough soldiers, aircraft, ships, and modern weapons? And what are we doing to strengthen ourselves for the future? Let us understand everything step by step. Canada's armed forces are officially known as the Canadian Armed Forces. They are divided into three main services: the Canadian Army, the Royal Canadian Navy, and the Royal Canadian Air Force. Together, these three services defend Canada's land, sea, and air. Let us first look at the total strength. Canada has approximately 65,000 regular force members. These are full-time professional soldiers, sailors, and air personnel. In addition, there are around 40,000 reserve force members who serve part-time and can be called upon when needed. There are also civilian employees working within the Defense Department. For a country of nearly 40 million people and such a vast geography, this number is considered modest when compared to many other nations. Now let us go service by service. First, the Canadian Army. The Army has roughly 23 to 25,000 regular force members. It also has a significant reserve component spread across different provinces. The Army's role is to defend land territory, assist in disaster relief, support NATO missions, and participate in international peacekeeping or combat operations when required. In terms of equipment, Canada does not operate large numbers of heavy main battle tanks like some major military powers. Canada uses Leopard 2 tanks. The number is limited, around 80 to 90 in total, including active and training units. The Army also operates armored vehicles such as the LAV-6, artillery systems, light armored patrol vehicles, engineering vehicles, and logistics trucks. Canada has some air defense and missile systems, but does not possess massive long-range ballistic missile systems like nuclear powers. Canada's defense strategy relies significantly on cooperation with NATO and especially with the United States through NORAD for continental air defense. Now let us move to the Royal Canadian Navy. Canada has one of the longest coastlines in the world, over 200,000 kilometers, including Arctic waters. The Royal Canadian Navy has approximately 8 to 9,000 regular force members. The Navy operates frigates, coastal defense vessels, submarines, and support ships. Canada has about 12 Halifax-class frigates, which form the backbone of the Navy's combat capability. There are also Arctic and offshore patrol ships designed to operate in northern waters. Canada operates 4 Victoria-class submarines. These submarines provide underwater surveillance and limited combat capability. However, Canada does not currently operate aircraft carriers or large destroyer fleets like the United States or some European nations. A modernization program is underway. Canada is investing in new surface combatant ships to replace older vessels over the coming years. This is part of a long-term plan to strengthen naval capability. Now let us examine the Royal Canadian Air Force. The Air Force has approximately 12 to 13,000 regular force members. In terms of combat aircraft, Canada operates CF-18 fighter jets. These aircraft have served for decades and are aging. Canada has made a decision to procure F-35 fighter jets to replace the older fleet. This will significantly modernize Canada's air combat capability. In addition to fighter jets, the Air Force operates transport aircraft such as the C-17 Globemaster and C-130 Hercules. It also operates maritime patrol aircraft, search and rescue aircraft, and helicopters for transport and tactical operations. Air defense in North America is conducted jointly with the United States under NORAD. This means Canada works very closely with the United States in detecting and responding to airborne threats. Now let us discuss ranks and structure. Each service has non-commissioned members and commissioned officers. Non-commissioned members are soldiers, sailors, and air personnel who join after high school or college. They receive technical and military training. They can rise through ranks such as private, corporal, master corporal, sergeant, warrant officer, and chief warrant officer. Commissioned officers are leaders. They are responsible for planning, commanding, and decision making. Officer ranks begin from second lieutenant or naval cadet and rise through lieutenant, captain, major, lieutenant colonel, colonel, and up to general ranks in the army. In the Navy, ranks include sub-lieutenant, lieutenant Navy, commander, captain Navy, and admiral. How does one become an officer? There are multiple pathways. One can join the Royal Military College of Canada after high school. The government pays for education, and upon graduation, the individual becomes a commissioned officer. There is also direct entry for those who already have a university degree. Such candidates can apply for officer roles and undergo military training. In some cases, experienced non-commissioned members can be commissioned as officers after meeting certain criteria. Now let us talk about pay and perks. Pay depends on rank and years of service. A new recruit in the regular force may earn approximately 40,000 to 50,000 Canadian dollars per year. As they gain experience and promotion pay increases, junior officers may start around 60,000 to $1,000 annually. Senior officers and generals earn significantly more. In addition to salary, members receive medical and dental coverage, pension benefits, housing allowances in certain locations, subsidized education, and other family support services. Canada spends tens of billions of dollars annually on defense. A significant portion goes to salaries, pensions, and benefits. Another large portion goes to equipment procurement, maintenance, and modernization programs. Now let us look at the defense industry. Canada does have a domestic defense industry. Companies in Canada manufacture armored vehicles, aircraft components, naval systems, and electronic equipment. Canada also participates in international defense supply chains. For example, Canadian firms contribute parts and technology to advanced aircraft programs. However, Canada does not produce every major weapon system domestically. Many systems are purchased from allies, particularly the United States. The big question is self-sufficiency. In recent years, there has been increasing discussion about strengthening Arctic defense, modernizing equipment, and increasing defense spending. Global tensions and geopolitical shifts have made security more important. Canada has announced plans to increase defense spending as a percentage of GDP in order to meet NATO commitments. Investments are being directed toward new fighter jets, naval ships, cyber defense, space surveillance, and Arctic infrastructure. Is Canada underarmed for its size? Some experts argue that the number of personnel and equipment is modest compared to the geographic responsibilities. Others argue that Canada's strategic partnerships and defensive geography reduce certain risks. The reality is that Canada relies heavily on alliances, NATO membership, and the close relationship with the United States are central pillars of Canadian defense policy. But the world is changing. The Arctic is becoming more accessible due to climate change. Global competition is increasing. Technology is evolving rapidly. Cyber warfare and space-based systems are becoming critical components of national defense. Therefore, modernization is not optional. It is necessary. Canada is focusing on recruitment as well. The armed forces have faced challenges in meeting recruitment targets. Efforts are being made to attract more young Canadians through better outreach, improved diversity policies, and updated training systems. To conclude, Canada's armed forces are professional, disciplined, and respected globally. They participate in peacekeeping, humanitarian missions, NATO operations, and domestic disaster relief. However, for a nation of such vast size and strategic importance, the numbers are relatively limited. The coming years will determine how Canada balances fiscal responsibility with security needs. Defense is not only about weapons and soldiers, it is about national will, economic strength, technological capability, and strong alliances. Canada stands at an important moment, strengthening Arctic defense, modernizing air power, rebuilding naval fleets, investing in cyber and space security, encouraging domestic defense manufacturing. All of these are steps toward a more self sufficient and resilient national defense posture. The question for policymakers and citizens alike is this: are we prepared for the challenges of the future? And are we willing to invest today to secure tomorrow? This is not about fear, it is about preparedness, it is about responsibility. It is about ensuring that a country of immense size, rich resources, and peaceful values remains secure in an uncertain world. Thank you.